Hey, what's up guys? John from Mongo Fishing. Today I'm here on the Monster Bass channel to talk to you guys about something that is near and dear to my hearts, and that's buzzbaits. But not buzzbaits as a whole, more specifically when I throw a finesse little 1/8 ounce buzzbait versus like a loud, obnoxious clacker style buzzbait that just makes a bunch of ruckus. Because there's definitely a time and place for both of them. And so in this video, I want to talk to you guys about how I pick which one I want to throw and kind of like, you know, where I want to throw it, why I want to throw it, obviously the rods and reels, all that fun stuff. So let's get into it. All right guys, so like I said, my name is John from Mongo Fishing, and this is the Monster Bass channel. This channel is dedicated to make you a better bass angler, or a better angler in general. We just want to make you a better fisherman. So if you are new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button right down there along with the bell notification button so you get notified every single time Monster Bass puts out another video. My channel, Mongo Fishing, will be linked down in the description below. I'd dig it if you came over and checked me out also. My channel is mostly tournament footage. Put the video out regardless if I do well or if I suck. I think there's learning points to be gathered, so, you know, that's what I do. But let's get into this, guys. Let's talk to you about one of my absolute favorite things to throw, and that is the finesse buzzbait. All right, so let's talk about before you even use it. So one of the very first things you want to do with any buzzbait that you buy is grab yourselves a pair of pliers, and you want to crimp this little rivet right here, crimp it in place. See how I smashed it right there? I don't want this little rivet turning. And if there's a ball between the rivet and the blade, I want to remove that ball. There should never be a ball between the rivet and the blade. The ball can go up top if you have one, but it doesn't go here. Because ultimately what you want to do is you want this blade spinning on that little crimp, building up friction, and it causes your buzzbait to get a little more squeaky. The squeakier the buzzbait, the better it is. They just get better with time. The first thing you can do to make it get better is to crimp that crimp. When do I do it? All right, so clean water, clear water, slightly stained, whatever. That's typically when I want to throw this little 1/8 ounce guy. If I'm in really heavy or really muddy or really heavily stained water, then I'm probably not going to throw this. Not initially. I'm going to throw something that has a lot more thump and kick to it. I want to make sure that these bass know where this bait is at, because, you know, typically if they're in muddy water, they're going to be feeding with their lateral line, not necessarily by sight. If they're in clean water, they can feed more by sight, and that's why I like to do this. I can cover a bunch of water. I can work this thing fast, find active fish. All right, guys, so one benefit about using this little 1/8 ounce dude with a flat bottom for a trailer is that I can skip this thing really, really well. Obviously I didn't need to skip it into the tree. I don't need to skip it anywhere through here. I can just flip it through this. But having this flat bottom on the trailer, I can get it back as far back as I want it. If I want to get it up underneath docks or brush or whatever, having this light buzzbait with a flat bottomed trailer, you know, something that wants to get up on plane and stay up on plane, neutrally buoyant. Something like that allows this thing to sink super slow, so that if I do get a backlash or something like that, I don't have to work as nearly as fast to get it out. Here's a fish. There's two. As for the trailer, I'm always gonna have, take that back, I'm almost always gonna have some sort of soft plastic trailer. I don't like throwing a buzzbait when it's just the blade and a skirt, because what I think, a couple things. One, the skirt doesn't really do much. If a bass bites it, it doesn't add any flavor. It doesn't add any bulk in his mouth. It just feels like a chunk of steel and lead. And if you have a trailer on here, he grabs onto this, it actually feels like food. They're bound to hold on to it a little bit longer. Same thing if I'm throwing a big obnoxious buzzbait, I will almost always have a trailer back there. All right, so where do I throw it? Okay, buckbrush, exposed vegetation, submerged vegetation, docks, laydowns, riprap, you know, shallow, basically fishing shallow. Buzzbaits are kind of snagless. They're not completely snagless, but their design, as they're coming across the surface, if they hit a log or whatever, they should skip up over top of it. Now, they may lay down and catch the side. It does happen, but for the most part, they'll roll over top of it. So me personally, if I'm throwing this little 1/8 ounce guy, I'm doing it on a Denali ATAX, which is an all-purpose rod. It's a 7-foot, I believe. Yeah, this is a 7-foot 2-power rod, which means that it's really soft. It's actually just an all-purpose rod. It's like a medium fast. It's really, really tippy, but it also bends a little bit deeper because it is a 2-power rod. You got to figure, this is a small buzzbait. You know, the Sugar Buzz, also a small buzzbait. So I do it on 12-pound fluoro. Now, I know people are going to sit there and think fluorocarbon, topwater bait, should never use fluoro on a topwater because fluoro sinks. Well, guys, buzzbaits sink also. They are steel and lead. There's nothing about a buzzbait that wants to float. So it doesn't matter if you're throwing it on fluoro or if you're throwing it on mono, it's still gonna sink. I choose fluoro over mono because fluoro has more abrasion resistance. I will throw them occasionally on braid. However, I don't like to throw small 1/8 ounce buzzbaits on braid simply because they're built smaller, right? They'll break easier than a thick, big buzzbait. And so I don't want to bend out my hooks and destroy my bait just trying to get it out because I'm throwing it on, you know, 30-pound braid or whatever. If I throw it on 12-pound fluoro, I'm not gonna damage the buzzbait as much trying to get it out of snags, if that makes sense. Every time you're fishing a buzzbait, eventually you're gonna catch a big fish and it's just gonna mangle this thing so bad and nothing's gonna line up anymore. Stuff's gonna get bent out of whack, and all you have to do is just re-bend it back into position. So look at it like this, line up all your bars, make sure everything lines up perfect. If the head gets bent out of shape, then, you know, bend it back down, whatever. Super simple. It's all you have to do to get your buzzbait working again is just line stuff back up again, and it should work perfectly fine. All right, let's stop and talk about trailers real fast. Okay, so trailers, I like to keep it pretty simple. For this little guy, there's 2 primary trailers that I throw. I throw something that's craw-shaped, like this is a Motivated Fishing Revelation craw, which is a Castaic Jerky J Swim. Little 3.5-inch minnow, rig that on the buzzbait. Now it does make it so it skips a little harder, but you can get a lot more violent strikes, I think, on this little minnow. They seem to get it a little better. But if I'm fishing docks and stuff where I need to skip it really well, then I'm gonna go with this cross style trailer. I just think that it adds a little more bulk. I know with the flat bottom, I can skip it a lot easier than I can with this little minnow shaped. So again, I kind of pick my trailer depending on the area that I'm fishing and what I need to do. Let's switch over to a clacking style buzzbait so I can show you the difference. All right, so this is a clacking style buzzbait. Okay, this is a Brazalo Custom Lures Bushwhacker. And I have a Zoom horny toad on the back. I actually have it upside down because I tore it. Trailer, same thing, some sort of craw, or in this case, a toad. A minnow will also work, but this is a clacker style buzzbait. This has the aluminum blade hits a little brass bead. And so what you get is a clicking sound. So a lot more noise, and you still have the bigger profile because you do have a soft plastic on the back. You can skip it, you know, whatever. It's just like any other buzzbait. I prefer to throw these on braid just for the simple fact that I'm going to throw these in a little thicker stuff, a little heavier stuff. Again, that's just a personal preference of mine. Plus, the way this one particularly is designed, it drops down right here. Has a drop down. I think I lose a little bit of hook set power if I use mono or fluoro, so I like to use braid with this just to maintain I don't know, a little stronger hook set power. And maybe you don't want one that's clacking. So in this situation, with this being a clacker, just bend the blade out just a little bit, and now it's a regular buzzbait. It won't clack. And sometimes that makes a difference. There's one, guys. Oh, it's a nice one. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's a good one right there, guys. Medium heavy, fast action. That's all it's needed. Like I said, the same thing I throw my buzzbaits on is the same thing I throw my swim jigs on, because I'm gonna have a swim jig tied on too, always. This time of year, buzzbaits and swim jigs are always on deck. In fact, today I only have 3 rods with me, 2 buzzbaits, 1 swim jig, because I know that's pretty much all I'm gonna need today to catch fish. Now, when a fish eats it, you gotta let him take it for a second. You wanna make sure you feel that fish. You don't want him just hit it and let it go, because then you're gonna swing on it and miss it every single time. But if you can keep reeling, feel the tension, then swing on it, you're gonna get that fish. Now, there are times that they're gonna just grab the tail and rip the tail off. It happens, it is what it is, nothing you can do about that. You can have a singer hook if you want, but that doesn't necessarily solve the problem. But seriously, just keep reeling, let them take it underwater, feel that tension, swing hard, and you'll have them. All right, guys, I think I need to call it a day. It's getting really hot. The topwater bite has just kind of died off. Guys, again, if you're new to the Monster Bass channel, hit that subscribe button right down there along with the bell notification buttons. You get notified every single time Monster Bass puts out another video. My channel, Mongo Fishing, will be linked down in the description below. I'd dig it if you came over and checked me out too. I think that is about it, guys. If you have any buzzbait questions, feel free to drop them down below. Again, this is one of my absolute favorite baits to throw. Myself or one of the Monster Bass staff will gladly answer it. And I think that is about it, guys. Again, thank you very much for watching. As always, get on the water, be safe, and go catch a monster bass.